Welcome to the show today. Allowed to talk. And if your family and friends and people you know would just let you talk sometimes, you need to vent and talk about things. It's like therapy, it helps. And today I want to talk about mental health and therapy. And when you get called crazy, sometimes you're crazy because you're funny or crazy good, or sometimes years ago the word crazy meant you have mental health issues. And I do. I have mental health issues. I confess to that, and I make mistakes a lot. And I even blame myself because of my childhood. I think, what did I do wrong? Because that happened to me, or this happened to someone else, or why did this happen? Why did that happen? And you question things when your mental health isn't quite right. And you know what? I think every single person in this world, whether they want to admit it or not, who's been through life on this earth and either chose to believe that grace is free, that you're going free because you can't be good enough to make it to see Jesus, and that you're a child of God, can get through this life without doing something horrible or believing something horrible, like you're better than the rest of the world, or you have to keep up an image, or you have to read, and I'm not reading anything, and take my glasses off, that you have to read from a teleprompter and have 3 different speech writers to write your speech for anyone, whoever is in charge of any country or anybody. I always thought as a child when I was like under 14 years old, and even until I was in my 20s probably, that everyone had compassion, everyone had empathy. But I know now from Jordan Peterson and Richard Grannon, Sam Vaknin, that everyone is not like that. There's people that there's like, I don't know how many different personalities there are. And there's people who have mental health issues who will say they have done nothing wrong when they blatantly do something wrong right in front of you. And you see it, but they say, I didn't do that, you did it. Or if you react a little bit crazy, which it seems crazy sometimes when I react, then you're the person that did the wrong, even if they left the door open at your house on purpose and left all your pets escape and they got run over by a car. That's your fault because you didn't tell me not to leave the door open, or you didn't tell me, even though you told them don't leave the door open when they were watching your pets. That's just a metaphor there, just like what Jesus would tell a parable. That because that didn't happen to me, but I told family and friends, in-laws, that this is what would drive me insane. And years later, when they got pissed off at me, then they did this stuff that I told them over 5 years of my life, and I thought they were my like best friend or loved me more than my own sisters, that they did the exact things that I told them would drive me crazy. And then when you want to talk to some of your siblings, it's like, oh, you're just the crazy one. I'm not talking to you. Just don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. Like that's going to make it go away. Well, that was my mom's generation. She's been dead since 1990 something, 91, I don't know. I can't get the years right. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes and I have struggles. And I'm going to post a video that I was posting last night, and I posted I videoed 10 minutes of we were stuck in traffic and there was a pretty bad accident only maybe a block in front of us. And traffic was being routed around on the left on Route I-49 in Arkansas. We were traveling north to go back to Missouri because we were in Arkansas for Rogers, Arkansas, where the Top Golf is. And I'm going to tell you, that place is a blast. It was so much fun shooting those golf balls, trying to hit the targets and getting points for it. And their food was pretty good too. And it was a retirement party that my daughter and her husband threw. And they paid for all of it. It's expensive there, but it was so much fun. You can save up some money, try to get. I think there's top, which I'm not perfect. There are Top Golfs, like all over. I don't know exactly what states in the United States or where they are located, even around the world. But it was fun for an hour or two and then shoot the golf balls trying to hit the targets. It was great. We had a blast. I'm going to post that video too. It's a 6-minute video of the retirement celebration we had for my husband because he retires in December 2022. So we had planned that on Thanksgiving Day, which is only a couple weeks from now, that we would tow our camper that we still owe money on, that we will pay that off, that 20 plus thousand, with the sale of this bungalow house that we're living in now. So this accident happened. I videoed the whole, like, sitting there 10 minutes already of what could go wrong. And I talk about Jesus, of course, like I always do. And I prayed a little bit for them. And I just turned the video recorder off, the camera off. And we were listening to music. And all of a sudden, wham! We were sitting in traffic. There was people behind us, a row of people behind us. We were the first one after the tractor trailer and car that couldn't get in the left, and we couldn't get in the left because they stopped the left traffic from going around the bad accident. And you'll see in the video, if you watch it, that there's a couple ambulances and fire trucks. I'm not sure on the number, but I'm not a liar. I basically like to tell the truth. I'm not going to make up some fable or twist the truth to make it sound better, or that so-and-so in my family didn't do anything wrong, even if they... When the police show up at their house, they're in their underwear, and he goes back to the person that's supposedly assaulting him. All right, come on, that's a lie right there. But like I said, I believe people had compassion and were honest and basically had some empathy, but there's people who have none, and they think they do no wrong. And like with this, the wham, I flew back in front. And thank God we were in our seatbelts, my husband and I. And we had our dog with us, our German Shepherd, and she flew up. And we had the kennel because we left her in a bedroom at my daughter's house in Arkansas. So, in the United States of America. So the dog flew and hit that. And my mind, because I imagine things, right? I was in that bad car accident, as you'll hear in the video I post about being stuck in traffic. When I was 14, I was in a bad accident. So I sort of have this thing about being feared that someone's going to run into us and hit us broadside more than from the rear. So I start praying that, oh Lord, help us, send angels, whatever, help us, because I don't know what just happened. Is my dog okay? Is my dog all right? Is she going to be okay? And I look back, and the whole back of the car was intact. I thought we have a pretty big car. A Kia Sorento is a bigger car. Here, a lady behind us, she either had her foot on the brake or she told, I want to tell you what my husband did, because he's such a kind, loving man. And praise the Lord for him every day. I've been mean to him and ugly to him a lot because of my past and what scares me and terrifies me to no end, which this person did to the actions to me, trying to make it look like that. When I told her for 5 years, yeah, I do need mental help. God, yes. But I know it and I deal with it. But we both had our seatbelt on, but I'm ranting about, Lord, help us. I just come and help us. And I didn't know if we were hit by someone going 40 miles an hour or not, or where it came from, the vehicle. And it's not on video because I was so worked up and crying and bawling that at the first 2-3 minutes after the wham, if I didn't have my seatbelt that held me, I would have slammed into the dash. But I thought it was someone moving 40, but here she was, the person behind us. And my husband jumped out because he's such a wonderful person, and he runs back to her to see if she's okay. And she was in shock, and she just was staring forward. He said it was a woman about 50-some, because we were in our 60s, so she looked younger than us, but not like a young person. But anyway, with the gender things, I might have offended her if I said she's a woman. So, but I didn't go back there. I stayed in with my dog and pet her and said, it's okay. She hit the kennel that was folded up pretty hard. But she seemed fine. And he went back and he said, are you okay? And she was like, I don't know. She said, I had the car in park to him. Well, I'll tell you, if I went back and she said that to me, I would have said, how in the world did this happen? I would have been questioning. And you know what would have happened? Because I sort of go off the deep end, get my emotions all stirred up because I was already crying. But I did call the police, and the state trooper came to help us and wrote it all down. So I would have been yelling at her, and she would have turned it around on me, probably, like all people that don't have empathy. Or I'm not saying she would have. I didn't know her. I didn't even go back and see her. I went back to see the back of her vehicle to tell the dispatcher that was dispatching on from 911 to send a state trooper from Arkansas to help us. So I went back and looked at the make of her vehicle. We have a Kia Sorento. She had a Kia Sportage. But they were both 2020s. It's 2022 right now, so they were both 2020 vehicles. I didn't know of a Sportage having a trouble. Years ago, probably 10, 15 Toyotas and the Kias, and I don't know if it was also Hyundais that had the problem with that. I think it was just the Kia and mostly the Toyotas that would accelerate for no reason. But it's felt like she had a vendetta against us and floored it and slammed into the back. And I had pieces in the kitchen of our bumper that we had to pick up to off the road. The police officer said, let's clean that up. And I had a bag from my husband's party, one of the gift bags that I emptied his gift out, and he went back and cleaned that up. But he was concerned for her. But her vehicle was so bad. There was anti-freeze stuff and her fluids. She couldn't drive that vehicle. They had to have that towed. We drove home, but the bumper's a mess. And we also had to our camper a hitch installed in 2022 at U-Haul and paid around $300-400. That is pulled forward and smashed down. When he backed in the driveway, it scraped. It's a mess. The whole bumper's a mess. The whole back, it's pushed up into the back of the wheel well in the back. But I'm just thanking God we're okay. At least physically I'm okay. But because I had not a flashback, but a memory of when I was 14. And also with what's going on with teenagers where their own parent wants them to change genders just because they think they might be that gender, or they like wearing dresses, or they like that kid who says he was a girl for almost 300 days now. I said I was crying and crying and crying, and I did compose myself to call the 911 to get a state trooper out, but people don't want to listen or talk. Or my husband listened a little bit, and I said, do you care if I cry? And he said he didn't care, and I cried some, but I left it loose after he went to work this morning. I was just crying out to Jesus and thanking him we're okay, but then I blamed myself. I did something wrong, but you know what? It rains on the just and the unjust. Life isn't fair, but we're all not righteous. We're all sinners, but we can choose to go and sin no more and try not to sin. Sometimes sins by accident, like I'll blurt out a 4-letter word because of the way the world is, the whole world with what's going on. And then the people that don't have empathy or compassion say they do, and like Jordan Peterson says, they'll sacrifice the individual just for their group. I'm going to say this because nobody's perfect, and especially certain politicians. A lot of them lie through their teeth, whether they're whatever party. But I'm ready for a change. That's all I'm going to say. And yes, I do have mental health issues. And yes, I would like to make more money on here because Social Security isn't that great, so we could travel more. And I'm praying, and I hope you pray for us, that the hitch can be in the back bumper. I do have pictures. My husband thought to take pictures. I was such a mess. I could have videoed the vehicles and got video of the back of our car and the front of her car, but we just have pictures because he was smart enough to quickly take some pictures. We have 3 of ours and 2 of her front end. And like I said, she had to have it towed. That's how bad it was from sitting still. So either the accelerator did just accelerate, or she had her foot on the brake and slipped onto the gas and floored it to slam into us like that. My daughter called me right after it happened, and I had prayed for a minute or so, but I was bawling to her, and she's like, Mom, I can't even understand a word you're saying. So I didn't do anything wrong, but I still blame myself, and I think, what did I do wrong? But anyway, mental health issues are real, and that's what a lot of it is. But the arrogant, egotistical, narcissistic, very cruel people in this world that have groups, just think it doesn't matter. We want it this way, so we're going to say that's okay to do. We're going to say it's okay to mutilate teenagers or young people when you don't even know what you want to be as an adult when you're 14 years old. You just don't. I didn't. Who does? You have an idea, but you don't really know. Go through your phases and enjoy pretending or acting like you're a girl when you're a boy, or that you're a boy when you're a girl, or a cat, like that girl in high school that they let her be a cat in the classroom. I don't even know what state in the United States that's in, but I commented, well, who's going to clean her litter box out if she's a cat? A cat doesn't clean their own litter box. So, the world is effed up. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, and just keep dancing. I'm going to dance today. I'm going to. That's what I want to do. I know that YouTube changed all the rules. That used to be in 2009, you could just make a video and they would monetize. Now it's you have to have this many and this many hours in a year, and they're making it harder and harder to monetize, but I'm going to keep on dancing.